It's time to play some more Mario Kart Wii Aurora. So, I'll be using Baby Daisy this time. And I use the cheap charger again even though I already used it in a previous cup. But it's a fun vehicle, so why not? So, next up we have the Firesnake Cup and the Hammer Cup. For this cup we have Magma Mine, Lava Lake, Lava Road, and Inferni Umbra. So 3 out of 4 of these tracks I actually do recognize. They are these last 3 right here. And I don't think I know what Magma Mine is, so that'll be an interesting one. But let's get started. Alright, and we're starting off with no preview at all. I guess this track is just too good for one. Yeah, I can't say I recognize this track too much, but it does look pretty interesting so far. I do like the lighting. Oh, that is not a ramp. My bad. I gotta say though, these tracks so far, they all have been pretty good. Even though I'm not really that much of a fan of District 65. Even though I'm not that much of a fan of District 65, even the updated version that I played in, I think it was the last cup, even that was a genuine good improvement. So the track is tolerable now, which is pretty good. And as for this track, when I saw the name Magma Mine, I thought it would be based off the Mario Party board, the Mario Party 9 board called Magma Mine. I think that's what it's called, right? Magma Mine? I forget. But doesn't seem to be based off that. It seems to be something pretty unique. But it looks pretty good, I must say. I'm kind of having trouble with navigating the track. I gotta look at the mini-map, and since I'm far away from my TV this time, it's pretty hard to kind of see it, especially when it has a dark color scheme. Because normally, I think the mini-map is normally lighter than that. But it's not too dark to the point where I can't see it completely. And normally I'd say the minimap, well, not normally, I do say it a lot. Having to look at the minimap for a custom track, if it's that confusing, I think that is kind of a detriment. But at the same time, if you don't look at the minimap at all during a track, then it might as well just not be there at all. Wow. All 3 laps, I keep forgetting that I have to make a right turn there. But if there was an arrow there, I don't remember if there was an arrow there. I wasn't paying attention, but I wish there was an arrow in that wide open section that lets you know that you have to turn right. Just exploring with some routes I haven't tried yet. Try to see if I can find some. Ooh. Okay, that's nice. Ooh, I should have went through that little hole right there. If that even was a hole. But yeah. If it was more clear on where to go, despite all the arrows, I still kind of had trouble. And I couldn't really follow the CPUs either, because as you can see, they were very far behind me. But I do like the theming of this track. Reminds me a lot of Grumble Volcano, which is weird because there's no falling pieces at all. But I like the direction this track was going in. Now, this is a track that I know very well, Lava Lake. One of my favorite Mario Kart Wii custom tracks in general. I have to thank CTGP for introducing me to this track because it is very, very fun to race on. And I think 200cc even makes it better. Should I slow down to get mushrooms so I can try some shortcuts? Because yes, there are quite a lot of different routes to go here. This is a bad idea, but I'm just gonna go over here. You do need a mushroom for it, but I think my off-road is good enough to still make it worthwhile. Actually, never mind, because the CPU's caught up in this shortcut right here that I just barely made with the cart. Oh, there go my bananas. And yeah, this falls on the next lap. It's either the next lap or lap 3. I think normally it's on lap 2, but since 200cc is so fast, it might still be there on the next lap. And now this track is one that reminds me more of Grumble Volcano, and you can go through this lava fall right here. which you also need a mushroom for, but still cool nonetheless. And then you can just keep going over here and pop right out here. Yep, pretty cool. Oh no, it still fell. Alright. So even on 200cc, you'll still have to deal with that hazard. And I think I showed off all the routes. I think now all that's left is the regular route. And I always found it weird how the little bolt effect, the lightning bolt effect, was purple on this track, which is pretty strange, I have to say. I do think it's pretty cool how custom track creators can like insert their own particle effects to different tracks. Like that purple lightning that you saw right there, that was pretty nice. I didn't think that would be even possible for custom tracks, but lo and behold, it can be done. Which further makes me oh, come on. I wanted to get to the finish line before the blue hit. But stuff like that makes me further interested in the custom track creating process. And who knows, maybe I'll make my own track in the future. Even though the Mario Kart custom wiki is going out of service, I won't even be able to upload on there. But it would be nice to make one anyways. Good track. I just keep freezing every time I pick next race. Alright, so it seems for a lava road they decided to choose the version that has red lava. Because there's an older version that uses blue lava, but this one is more modern, so makes sense why they would pick that. And wow, I do not... Was it always an outdoor environment like this? I don't remember. What I do remember is these bounce pads right here. I don't know why they decided to make those little grates bounce pads. Those ones aren't. The ones that shoot fire pillars, those ones are normal. Oh, and I do not remember that shell spewing out lava. That's pretty cool. Maybe this is an even further updated version. Or those were always there and I just never noticed them because I'm blind. But yeah, I think on that little jump, fire pillars are supposed to shoot out or something like that. That's what I remember. And in the especially older blue lava version, that ramp used to be even more awkward. I almost forgot where I was going for a second. But yeah, this is... Oh, so that's one way the fire pillar can get in the way, I guess. But yeah, with these grates, normally you just want to avoid them, but if you can find ways to do some pretty nifty shortcuts with them. They might be small shortcuts, but if you can find ways to save even a little bit of time, then that can prove their worthiness. Because I really don't know how to feel about being able to just barely touch a grater that I didn't mean to, and then just shoot up instantly, and that messes up your lines. And that's what really bothered me the very first time I played this track. It wasn't this version of the track, it was the blue lava version. But over time I've grown to like this, and actually getting good at this track is really satisfying. And I imagine, well, I already am playing with the speed mod 200cc, but I wonder how good this track would feel to play on 200 kmh. Just flying everywhere. I know these grates probably wouldn't like be able to like get you any faster, but like going at 200 kmh speed and trying to avoid everything and just barely falling all the time, it sounds pretty fun. But or barely avoiding falling, I don't know what I'm saying. I think I did see a video one time of someone playing the old version of Lava Road on 200 kmh, so maybe I should try out something like that in my own time. But this is a good version of the track, definitely an improvement over the very first version. I didn't even comment on the environment, it looks really stunning. But yeah, a nice track overall. Oh great, Inferni Umbra, aka Infernal Pipeyard. Yeah, I don't know why they changed the name. Well, I know why, because it's not even themed around pipes anymore. It's just very bland now. Yeah, I am not a fan of the way they updated this track. I like the old version a lot better. Because the old version actually had some personality, being themed around pipes. And you can tell I've played this before by the way I knew to turn left there. Okay, well, if the cheap charger didn't have the worst bounce in history, then maybe I wouldn't have fallen there. Okay, well, I forgot how cool this looks, so that's at least one thing I think this does better than the original version. But I just missed the old version because I like the textures better. Even though these textures right here are much higher quality, I still like the charm that the older version had. And the green pipes that it was themed around. Thus the name Infernal Pipeyard. Yeah, now just being like a regular volcanic area, just kind of boring. Like, I don't really know what to say. I don't really feel the satisfaction that I did back when I played the old version. And when CDGP updated and I saw a track was added called Inferni Umbra, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Then when I played it and found out it was just a ruined version of Infernal Pipeyard, which was one of my favorite tracks, I was like, oh my gosh, what did they do? What did they do to one of my beloved tracks? But it's not really that big of a deal. I'm making it seem more of a big deal than it really is. It's still the same track at the end of the day. And admittedly, even if I might not like it as much, they did a good job with the update of this track. There are shortcuts, as you can see right here. Ooh, I thought even without a mushroom I'd be able to make it. But I guess Baby Daisy just wasn't fast enough. Even on 200cc. Maybe with the Flame Runner, or even the Mock Bike, I could have just barely made that. I'll have to find that out on my own time. Oh, come on. And that part right here, I have... Even back when I did like the track, I had mixed feelings about that part, because I remember it being really hard to make it across that section with the cart. Because inward drifting or not just outside drifting vehicles in general, because with the inward ones, it's obviously much easier because you can just drift from one pad to another without any problem, but cars or outside drifting bikes don't really have that versatility, so you'd have to plan out your route better in order to make it across there. Oh hey, CPUs on the hardest difficulty that somehow can't make it past this simple course. I don't blame them, this course is pretty difficult. And that is it for the Firesnake Cup. All the fiery tracks of this cup have been done. Pretty good overall. I don't know why it keeps on freezing when I click next race, but these were good tracks as per usual with this pack, and hopefully we can keep the good tracks going with this upcoming Hammer Cup. I don't know why, but the Bit Bike looks really good with Baby Daisy. I don't know, she just seems really fit for the bike. But let's move on to the Hammer Cup, which has Oil Rig Run, Cargo Bay, Full Moon Facility, and Under Construction Circuit. I recognize Cargo Bay, but other than that, actually maybe Under Construction Circuit is one I have played. But besides mainly Cargo Bay, all of these will be pretty new to me. So let's start with Oil Rig Run. Alright, so... okay, actually, I think I have seen this before or played. Is that Dr. Mario on that signpost? Yeah, I definitely have played this before. I knew the name looked somewhat familiar to me because I do recognize all those. Oh, you know, since this is the Hammer Cup, all these will be like building based or construction based. I think I've played this track before. I think mostly construction based. But yeah, I knew I recognized this track, and seeing the cargo in the preview. I definitely know I've played this in Mario Kart Wii Deluxe, I think. Either that or Mario Kart Midnight, one of those two. But I mostly remember it from Mario Kart Wii Deluxe. Yeah, I know this track. Now, I don't know this track well enough that I remember the layout, but I know a lot of aspects to it. Mainly the... Oh, that's out of bounds. I did not know that. Mainly the fact that it's just one giant square. Well, not entirely a square. It has some variety to it other than that. I think if it was just a square, I wouldn't remember it. That's the second time I've fallen off there. I need to learn from my mistakes. Because that's the thing about Mario Kart, especially custom tracks. When you do something wrong on a track you've never played before, well, in my case, I haven't played in a while, but when you're doing stuff on unfamiliar track, you just gotta memorize the optimal things to do, because you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Oh, yes, I remember this. I like this a lot when this cannon just shot you upwards. Okay, let's go. Yeah, go right. That's the way to go. I also like the rain that's going on in the background. Okay, I almost fell off there again, but luckily I remembered at the last moment. And I find it really hard to see that hole right there. I don't know if it's just me, but I find that hole pretty tricky. Is this just... Yeah, this is just oil. Alright. Very shiny oil, too. And should we... No, let's go left this time. Oh, yeah, there is Dr. Mario on there. And some teeth. Okay. Can you even go this way? No, you cannot. You have to go through the cannon. Wait. So, which way did I take on lap 1 that made me avoid that cannon? I don't know. But, can you fish this way? Oh, no you cannot. They thought about that. I'll finish backwards, because why not? But yeah, the memory is coming back to me now. I think that cannon part really helped me, like, recognize the track. Well, I recognized it from the preview at the beginning, but I think that helped me even more. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's just move on. Cargo Bay now. This is another one I recognize. Yeah, this is one I played in Mario Kart Midnight for the first time. It was one of my favorites in that pack, and I feel like the same thing is going to apply here, because the main gimmick with this track is you play it forward, and then you play through it again backwards in the same lap. It's pretty cool. Thanks, Dry Bowser. Pretty cool. But yeah, all of this I'm pretty sure we're going to be revisiting on the turnaround section when we come up to that. You can tell from the main map that we're going to be going across the same sections over again, just in a different direction. I think this is the... Well, not including me falling off. Actually, no, I did that on purpose so I could dodge the lightning. Yeah, right here is where we then go across the ship again, and now this boost panel. Yeah, and now here you'll see stuff has turned around. Actually, no, stuff hasn't turned around. It's just we've turned around. And that's really what makes this track unique. That's something that actually took me a while to notice when I played this track for the first time. I just saw it as something of a regular old track. Then when I played it a couple more times, I was like, wait a minute, we're going backwards. That's pretty cool. I don't know why that took me forever, but okay, yeah, I can see that backwards ramp now. And the water, whoa, I saw an alternate route that I tried to go down it, but I can always just try again. Yep, there it is. Alright. Ooh, don't fall. And I should have went to the right more. I was not looking. I guess I won't be able to complete that route anymore. Well, let's just make this turn again and go through it backwards. Alright, I think King Boo's in second place right now. Gotta watch out for him. And yes, obviously it's called Cargo Bay because just look at all these giant boxes that our vehicle is strong enough to drive on, apparently. I feel like a vehicle would be strong enough to drive on a cargo box in real life. Or would it? I don't know, I'll have to research that in my own time. A very satisfying track to play on 200cc as well. Even with me falling a couple of times, I still found that pretty fun. And that's another blue shell. Wow. That's what I get for putting it on aggressive items, I guess. Okay, now this one, I have absolutely no idea what it could be about. Full Moon Facility. It does not ring a bell to me at all. But there are, obviously from the name, there are going to be a lot of moon parts to it. As you can see from that crater in the intro right there. And a lot of purple water involved as well. Ooh, take that shortcut. Okay, good thing you don't need a mushroom for it. I can see the Toad's Factory vibes from it already. Especially since Toad Factory music is playing. But you don't hear that right now. You hear Egg Factory from Sonic Riders because it's custom music I put. I don't know why I felt the need to even mention that. I just needed something to talk about. That's the thing about commentary. You just gotta keep constantly thinking of ways to just not stay too silent for too long. I can get staying silent when you really need to concentrate on a certain part of a game, but I don't think there's too much concentrating to happen here because it's just CPUs and they're not that hard to beat, even though I put them on hard. But I think it has to do with just 200cc not being well fit for the CPUs, or the CPUs not being well fit for 200cc, one of the two. I do wish they were a bit more difficult. I like Retro Rewind's very hard difficulty that they added, which is pretty fun. However, okay, I'm talking trash about the CPUs and look what they're doing to me. And I just did that to myself. I hope that wasn't a bean corner. But yeah, look what happens when I start trash talking the CPUs. They suddenly start trying to prove me wrong. I haven't found any shortcuts in this level yet. I gotta step my game up. Oh, I see one right there, which I totally missed. Sorry about that, Yoshi. Oh, I almost bumped him off. Oh wait, that is a shortcut right there. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, there's no shortcuts in this level. I literally did that shortcut the first 2 laps. What am I on about? I do like how they got those moving platforms from Toad's Factory working. I think the power happened here too, on this previous lap. And the Delfino Square drawbridge, that's a nice touch. Ooh, you can even see Earth from there. Yeah, I don't know what I was talking about with there being no shortcuts. There are plenty of shortcuts. Gotta think about what I say before I actually say it. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, CPUs. I do wish they were a bit more difficult in Mario Kart Wii. That would make things a lot more engaging. And on the topic of CPUs, something I don't like in video games, mostly racing games, is when a CPU is just very unnatural. Like for instance with Mario Kart, the CPUs can just make extremely tight... Whoa, where am I going? Okay, I'm good. When the CPUs can just make extremely tight turns that human players cannot, because they just have infinite handling. Meanwhile, I just have to deal with the handling of the vehicle. And I kind of wish the difficulty of CPUs was like programmed in a way where they didn't have to just straight up cheat in order to make themselves harder. Kind of like, well, I know calling rubber banding cheating is a bit of a stretch since that's just a basic difficulty. mechanism, but yeah, all these blue shells. But yeah, I do wish CPUs just drove like normal human beings, and their difficulty actually came from having like actually good driving lines rather than just getting a random speed increase out of nowhere, or just from being able to turn as sharp as they can. And even though I don't have mushrooms, let's just take an off-road shortcut. The blue shell is here to ruin my day though, which is I did not touch that out of bounds. What are you talking about, track creator? Like, I clearly did not even touch that, but it counted me out anyways. Maybe I touched the very edge of it, like the very beginning of the out of bounds zone, and it counted me out because of that. I guess that would explain it. I like this track though, even though it's big. I do not like these blue shells. They are everywhere. I've never dodged a blue shell with a banana before. That's very hard to do though, and I probably will never do it. But I like this track, even though it's pretty basic. But it does drive pretty good, and even though I did fall a few times, that was only because I wasn't looking. How many blue shells? Even though I did fall a few times, that was just because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and because it's 200cc as well. But it was pretty good. I like what it was going for with its construction zone vibe to it. And that was all the tracks in the Hammer Cup, which concludes this video. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Goodbye.